everyone, this is Victor Ajifobi from DSM Nigeria Radio, and today I have a very special guest with us today on DSM Nigeria Radio, and she is no other person than Juanita Bouwer. You're welcome, madam.
Thank you so much.
So tell us, who is Juanita Bouwer? I know who you are, but let's our listeners get to know who you are and what role you play as far as DSM is concerned.
Okay, I'm the director of the international activities of Business School Netherlands. So what we do from our offices, the office that I manage, is that we take care of all the international activities that are non-Dutch programs. So anything that's delivered in another language, we take care of that from our offices in South Africa.
So you oversee offices, I know you oversee Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana,
Egypt,
China.
Yes, China also falls under the international activities.
Okay, language is not a problem.
No, not at all.
Okay, that's good. So let's have a little bit about your background.
Well, I started my career in accounting. That was the first job I did was in bookkeeping. I was headhunted by a company to work in a retail company that was selling books and education, and worked for them for 12 years, eventually ending off by being the regional manager in South Africa of the Western Cape region. And then I went to do a presentation to the founder, Dick Gaassen, trying to sell books. And a week later, he headhunted me to BSN. I thought we were getting a contract. I thought we were going to supply books. And that wasn't the case. He offered me a job. So that's how I landed up at BSN. I was headhunted by the founder after doing a presentation to me. I headed up their finance and admin department initially. And then Pierre Stradon came to work for Business School Netherlands, and they seconded me to the operational part of the business. I was at the operational part of the business for many, many years before becoming the general manager of the South African school. And then I was moved to international to oversee international activities. And yes, then I was the CEO for a while, and then the company was sold. And then I went back to international activities, and that's what I'm doing now, director of the international activities.
Oh, that's good. That sounds really nice. So, with all this, what gives you fulfillment? What would you say really gets you going, like makes you keep going and wanting to do more, wanting to achieve it? So what is it? What's the driving force?
For sure, the growth of the students. We get to interact with the students. We get to play a role, not necessarily directly. The students do the work. But we get to play a role in that student's life, in making the transformation in that student and watching them progress, watching their growth, watching their career growth. For me, that's a reward. To see a student at graduation, when you know you've interacted with them in the beginning and then you interact with them and you see the transformation in the student, that's phenomenal.
Wow,
that's what drives me.
Wow, that's good. So why did you get to do the program? Did you need to? Was it like a requirement?
It wasn't a requirement. I'd spent so much time with students and hearing students' problems, students' challenges, and then I was offered the opportunity for my own growth with the program, which I then grabbed with both hands, because I thought if I can experience the program myself, then I can explain to other people in all honesty what the challenge is going to be, because everybody thinks doing an MBA is a phenomenal thing, it's wonderful, it is. But what BSN basically sells is pain. We sell you pain, but that pain will help you to grow. It will grow you as a person. From a developmental perspective, I don't think there's much better than the DSM MBA program. And so I had the opportunity. I experienced what other students experience. So I'm able to easily relate to those students and the challenges. And of course, some of the program changes were directly made because of the challenges that the students are experiencing, because I had experienced them, so I was speaking firsthand.
Very interesting. Okay. So now, you're in Nigeria, BSN Nigeria. How would you relate? Coming from South Africa, you're here. How would you, if you were asked to do like a comparison, not necessarily, but how relate in terms of an MBA here and BSN in South Africa? Are there similarities? Is there something unique?
I think in Africa as a whole, we all share the same types of challenges. We have the social challenges, we have the electricity challenges, we have the financial challenges, we have the time challenges. I mean, most Most work, 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day. I think in Nigeria the challenges could be even greater. I think because the work days, from those that I've experienced, I can only speak from my own experience, the work days in Nigeria I find to be incredibly long, especially when you add onto it the fact that you sit in the traffic for so many hours. Those are hours that are lost, that are not really fruitful hours. Some make them fruitful, but I don't think it's very easy to work on assignments while you're sitting in the back of a car for 2 hours. It's not the easiest. I suppose for reading it could be, but so there are many similarities, but there are differences. And I think the Nigerians do have the challenge in that they seem to have a much longer working day from the time they get up to the time that they finally go to bed. So to squeeze in that 2 or 3 hours of studying a day, I think is a bigger challenge for a Nigerian, in my opinion, than what I've noted for the South Africans.
And somehow we're getting by because I think we're doing well.
I think it's because of the hard work ethic. The Nigerians work extremely hard. And I think that is what carries them through, is that good work ethic. Yes, they ask for extensions, but the students we find that they work incredibly hard and they're communicative with us. So if there is a challenge, they do speak to us about the challenge and we see how best can we help to alleviate some of that pressure. We don't want necessarily that the MBA adds an enormous amount of stress to the students because they are busy managers, they are working individuals that are busy driving their careers. So if we can help to try and alleviate the pressure but still have the success in the study, for us, that's first prize.
Okay, so you're a member of the DSM board. And give us your impression of how the progress has been in Nigeria. DSM Nigeria is about 15 years now.
Yes.
So how has it been? Have you watched the growth?
The growth has been phenomenal. It's been really, really phenomenal. The growth in student numbers, the growth in the areas in which we are represented now. Initially, when BSN started, it was a one-roomed office in Otter State. And now today, we stand with a school in the Kijang, we have partnerships in Abuja, we have partnerships in Port Harcourt. So we're representative in more areas within the country, we have more students, and the graduate numbers for us are very impressive. The graduate numbers have increased radically compared to 2008 when we had the first graduate.
Okay. So, I know you're going to be around for a very long time.
We hope so.
I believe so. So, if you had the opportunity and someone asks this question I'm about to, what would you like to be remembered for?
What would I like to be remembered for? I suppose for the positive change that I'm able to make in people's lives. And because the lives that we're changing don't only, and it's not only in BSN, it's also in the community work that I do. The change that you're making is not only in the one person that you're affecting. That person might be the breadwinner to another 10 people. So your effect is not just the one person. It's potentially 10 people, which affects 100 people. So for me, I suppose it's being a change maker, being able to make a difference, not necessarily directly, but having a hand in the change in other people's lives to the positive.
So you see like a domino effect, as it were.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you can positively influence one person, that effect becomes phenomenal when it's carried across to the people that those people relate to. So for me, it's for making a difference.
So we have an alumni community worldwide that's growing. So what would you say if you had a word to say to the alumni community in Africa, as it were, or under your sphere of influence, as far as BSN is concerned? What would you say?
I would say don't stop learning. You need to continue learning. You've never learned everything that you need to learn. That's the first. The second is you've had the opportunity, whether paid for or not paid for, somebody had a hand in your life to positively change something to the positive for you. Give back to your community. You have the skills. Make a difference in somebody else's life, because if we do, then it has a domino effect in that if you have one person making a difference, the effect is not as big as if you have 100 people making that same difference. So I would say that we need to be, it needs to not all be about the money. The alumni need to take responsibility also for community change, so they need to also get their hands dirty and try and help communities to become self-sustaining. In Africa, that's the one problem that we do have. Our countries are not self-sustaining. So if we are able to make a difference, especially when it comes to poverty and those things, if we can run the communities with the skills that we've learned and help others to make those differences, I think the effect will be quite radical.
So for those in the MBA school at this point in time, and you've had to interact with so many students. So let's look at those in the MBA school and those that are hopefully trying to even get in and making their applications. What is the word of advice you would give to them?
Do not underestimate the amount of work you're going to have to do. Make the necessary time available to do the work. A lot of people do the MBA. The thought when they enroll on the MBA is that it's status, it's going to be your career progression. Put those things one side. Stop worrying about those things. They will come. Do the MBA. Do it properly. Do your action learning projects. The difference that you make with those action learning projects will get you seen, and that will realize all those things. Those should not be the main aim coming into the program. Those will become a reality for you. I mean, there's not one MBA graduate that I know of that has not been noticed for the work that they've been done. Or acknowledged. They've been acknowledged.
Okay, and finally, one of the things I would like to ask at this point is, we understand that knowledge is dynamic, a lot of things are happening. So what's next for DSM as it were? Where are we going to be in the next 5, 10 years? What's the next big thing that's going to happen, let me ask?
Well, DSM's intent is to be a business school with a plus-plus strategy. So what we're wanting to do is we're saying, yes, the MBA training is one side of DSM. We have also the value add that we have a huge network, and the network literally daily is growing with the students that are enrolling, the students that are graduating. Plus, we also have access, depending on the area, we also have access to funders. So DSM wants to move from being just a business school to a holistic opportunity for those in the entrepreneurial side that wanting to grow businesses. They want to become a business school in true right. So that's where the movement is going towards, and obviously also the growth of the school. We're wanting to expand the school because we believe that action learning is what specifically Africa needs, desperately needs.
Thank you very much. Ms. Juanita, it's been a pleasure having you on DSM Radio. Thank you for stopping by, and I'm sure next time you're in town, you'll pop in and say hello to us.
Thank you so much for having me.